because I thought it was 2:30, but then it is still 1 hour before. So I was a little bit worried with the message.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Is it okay if you can present it right now? Because couple of hours.
Yeah, I can. No problem.
Okay. Perfect. Thank you. Sorry for the inconvenience.
No problem. No problem.
Okay.
So, do I just go
Let
main?
us introduce you. Melinda will be introducing to our
Okay.
you to our attendees and the fellow speakers as well. So after that, you can take over the stage.
Okay. And just before we start, I wanted to say, do I need to click anything before I go on the stage, or is it all okay?
Yeah, you're live currently. If you want to share your screen, you can share your screen and
Okay.
go through.
I prefer to go free flow without any slides. Is that okay with you?
Yeah. Would you
Okay.
want to turn on your camera or you want to go like this?
I would prefer to have the camera on, yeah. And second thing I want to ask is while I'm delivering the presentation, would I be able to see the audience or not?
They are in the fourth icon. If you see on your right hand side,
Mhm.
uh, people in the session. If you hover on that, there are
Okay.
three men icon or three persons icon.
Okay. And right now my camera is turned off, so I can just put the camera on and go live, yeah?
Yes, please.
Yeah.
Can you please turn your
Sure.
camera
I
on?
can do that. Yes. Of course I can do that. Yeah.
Thank you, Dr. Ruchi Mishra. So Melinda will introduce you, and from there you can take it forward. Thank you.
Thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen, it is an absolute honor to introduce our esteemed speaker for today, Dr. Ruchi Mishra Sharma. A devoted mother and conscious parent, Dr. Ruchi wears many hats: a certified RTT clinical hypnotherapist, a medical doctor with over a decade of experience in the NHS, UK, a trauma informed therapist, podcast guest speaker, international speaker, and published author. Her journey is a testament to her commitment to empowering and inspiring women, encouraging them to align with their authentic selves and speak their truth unapologetically. Dr. Ruchi's accolades include the fellowship of the International Institute of Organizational Psychological Medicine, USA, Australia, UK, FIIP, FIIOPM, and she is a fellow of accredited counselors, coaches, psychotherapists, and hypnotherapists. UK FACCPH, recognized for extraordinary leadership. She received the Hansel Award and was featured in the Hansel Business magazine in 2023. As you listen to her insights today, I invite you to connect with Dr. Ruchi Mishra Sharma's empowering journey and follow her on social media for ways to work with this phenomenal individual. So please join in giving a warm welcome to Dr. Ruchi Mishra. So welcome on stage, Dr. Ruchi Mishra. So the stage is all yours. Good luck.
Thank you. Thank you very, very much. It is such an honor to be here. And thank you so, so much for having me. This is such a brilliant opportunity. And thank you for all the kind words. Um, I would really like to start with self belief, which has been the magical ingredient all along. What we don't like to share in with people around is our failures. Everybody wants to share the successes. So I would really like to start with the person I was not more than 3 years back. So I'm a medical doctor by profession. I chose to be one when I was 18 years old to follow my medical professional journey. So 3 years back, I was wearing these blinders on and I'm thinking, this is who I can be, this is what I chose to be. But I'm 38 years old, so 20 years down, there's definitely more. So, there's always this feeling I've got more to offer. I know I can do more, be more. So, with all the generous introduction I had, other than me being a medical doctor, everything else amongst that happened in the last 3 years. And if you ask me how, it is just about self belief. The words self belief, self love, self confidence all start with the self for a reason, because they cannot come from outside. I was somebody who was really struggling with low self confidence, low self esteem, non existent self love, and self acceptance. So, outwardly, I've got these accolades of like being a medical doctor, being a medical professional, but inwardly, there was this emptiness. I know I can do more, I can be more. So, I really want to talk about self belief and what does self belief mean. Self belief stands on the foundation of self love and self acceptance. I was somebody whose self belief, or self confidence relied on validation from other, and you can be very clear how fleeting that is, right? So your self confidence and self belief have to come from within you. The two main foundations are self love and self acceptance. How do you nurture self love? Self love sounds like a selfish idea to a whole lot of people when I mention it, but trust me, it's not. I will start and come with the intention of the to dos after these 25 minutes. I really want you to go away thinking, okay, these are the things that I can immediately do. And the first and foremost I would like to mention is the self love mirror exercise. This has been life transforming for me, and it is such a big boost and a big help to your self belief and self confidence. So, self love mirror exercise basically means when you get up in the morning, when you are in front of the mirror. Okay, so Dr. Rhoda Beckwith writes, it's amazing how easy we can become imposters when we try to meet others' expectations of who they think we are based on achievements. Absolutely. I completely agree on that. So I believe imposter syndrome is basically intellectualizing self doubt. Whenever you move from one step to the next big step in your life, self doubt comes to knock on your doors, and you make a choice whether you give in to it or you take the next step. Okay, so self doubt is not your enemy. It's more like your mind's preserving mechanism saying, are you ready for it? Are you okay for it? Can we go up for it? So there are ways and means that we can always combat self doubt. And the biggest of this is actually pouring in, nurturing your self belief. So for self belief, it's self love, self acceptance, and self forgiveness. So I'll talk about each of those one by one. We talked about self love. The self love mirror exercise is you stand in front of the mirror first thing in the morning. We all brush our teeth. So you wake up, you stand in front of the mirror. I hope all of you have been in love at some point in your life. So you look at yourself as the person you love thoroughly, genuinely, looking at yourself, telling, I love you, your name. So I would say, Ruchi, I love you, truly, deeply, unconditionally. And I love and accept all parts of you. When you say that, I get a whole lot of reactions. Some are like, oh my God, that doesn't feel true. Should I say that? Is it not very selfish? Is it narcissist? No, nothing. Love yourself like your life depends on it, right? And this is a book I read. And it's so important. Self-confidence and self-belief cannot exist without self-love, and self-love is not narcissistic. Self-love is not selfish. It is like, if you don't keep your own cup full, there's nothing much you have to offer anybody else. Self-acceptance comes from self-forgiveness. So say I made a decision as a 10-year-old, a 15-year-old, a 20-year-old. I was somebody who held myself responsible. I could have done this. I could have done that. This wasn't right. No, letting go. Self forgiveness comes from understanding that the decisions that you took came from the wisdom of a 10-year-old, 15-year-old, 25-year-old. Now, as a 38-year-old, me going and challenging that is not self forgiveness. Learning to forgive yourself, cultivating self awareness. What is self awareness? We are always turned out, TV, phone. I mean, come on, let's be honest. If we were given 5 minutes spare, how many of us would actually do something that cultivates self awareness? Or how many of us will literally pick up our phone and start scrolling? Yeah. So we are almost always outwardly focused. Self awareness is about looking within, about making time for yourself, about understanding what is your idea of success. What does a successful, meaningful, purposeful life mean to you? nobody else but you. It does not have to fix into a social idea or something that you were told that success means, some house, some partner. What does a successful, meaningful, purposeful life mean to you? And I would say this is the best gift you can give yourself, because if you're wanting to follow that shiny dream that is somebody else's, even if you accomplish it, that is not yours. It is not going to give you the joy and fulfillment. We are all limitless beings who basically chose to be here to grow, to learn, to progress. And we are all blessed. We were born with all the self confidence, all the self belief, all the self worth that you need. It's already in there. It doesn't have to come from out there somewhere. What happens is over time, from our carers, from the life circumstances, especially in the first 5 years of our life, we are almost like in a hypnotic stage, taking in everything that goes in and forming a worldview. Okay. So that is where subconscious blocks come into play, and limiting beliefs and subconscious blocks cover who you really are, your hidden potential, your unique strengths. We all look different. We all have different unique strengths. There is a reason for that. There is a rhyme and reason for that. Otherwise, we would all have been just robots doing the same thing, wanting the same thing. Like Albert Einstein said so beautifully that, if you made a fish climb a tree, it will live its life thinking that, oh my God, I'm so stupid. Unfortunately, most of our educational system is arranged around that, making us feel stupid. Um, with my kind introduction, there was a mention of all those achievements. But again, remembering that all those accolades are things you're carrying in your trolley. They are not who you are. Your self-worth does not come from any title or any accolade. You carry it within yourself. That is where your self-belief comes from. That is where your self-confidence comes from. And always remember that for the validation to come from within you, you have to nurture it. You have to remind yourself of that. Coaching and hypnotherapy have been brilliant tools for me, which I've helped myself with when my amazing colleagues did it for me, and helped my clients to move parts the subconscious blocks and beliefs that were holding them back. Then I would next want to talk about something that is not always talked about, which is childhood sexual abuse. Now, you might think, where does that come into play and why is she even talking about it? I'm talking about it because when we talk about self-love and self-acceptance, that has to involve all parts of you. Sharing your vulnerability is how you connect with people, is how you give others the permission to be themselves. I want to take this platform. Recently, I shared it in the chapter I wrote in the book, Voices of Impact, as well. I experienced childhood sexual abuse as a 4-year-old, and I am not sure how long it lasted. But this was a part of my life which I always had to hide from the world, because this part cannot be accepted. And anybody who has ever experienced or knows of somebody who has experienced, the amount of guilt and shame that you carry around with it is immense. Why I want to share this and why I want to create awareness about it is childhood sexual abuse does not lie out there somewhere, and it exists in society. It can happen to anyone. It could be your parent, mother, father, sister, sibling, wife, husband, anyone. And you don't have to be a therapist to help them or to help yourself. Giving the other person a space to talk about it so that they don't need to hide it. I have lived with it. I lived with it for almost 30 years of my life, till the time I knew I cannot carry this baggage anymore. It is draining my energy. Why do I need to hide this from people? It wasn't my fault. Why should I hide it? When you let it out, you are getting rid of the guilt, the shame associated with it. Now, how does it relate to self-belief? Remember, we talked about the base of self-belief being self-love and self-acceptance. The guilt and shame that I carried from this abuse, unfortunately, was holding down the self-love and self-acceptance. So I am not accepting all parts of me. Me being here talking about it, this wouldn't have happened about 3 years back because, it was a whole lot to take in. But I want to create awareness about it. I want to speak about it. If you are somebody who experienced it, if you know of somebody who experienced it, help them speak about it. Create awareness about it. If you are a parent, if you're a guardian to somebody, even children who are 5 years old, 2 years old, create awareness about good touch, bad touch, about creating a bond of trust with them. Self love, self belief, self acceptance also involves becoming a conscious parent to yourself. So, whenever we talk about being a parent, being a conscious parent, it's always about being a biological parent to somebody else. That's secondary. If you can't be a conscious parent to yourself, if you can't deal with your own trauma, if you don't focus on your healing, you cannot give the best version of yourself to anybody, not to your client, not to people you work for, not to your family. So, healing is like taking off the layers that are covering the shine of the true diamond that you really are, of your hidden possibilities, of your hidden potential that you carry. So, we are all limitless beings. We chose to be here to learn, to grow, to progress. I think the worst outcome would be that it is time to leave and we go back with the potential that we came in, your unique strength, your unique talent. It could be different things for different people. Find that, dig your dream, live your dream. And when you dig your dream, when you live your dream, when you choose to live a fulfilling life that makes sense to you, it does not have to make sense to anyone else. And even when you start with maybe not even your immediate family, it has to have meaning and purpose for you. I'll ask a very simple question. What would you do that brings you joy and fulfillment, even if you were not paid for it? Give it a second. Just give it a second. See what comes to you. If anybody wants to write in the chat box, feel free to. And we have some amazing comments out there. Self-awareness is not selfish, it is necessary. Of course it is. We have to examine our core so that we can be more. Yes, and align with our core. Thank you for being so transparent and sharing you with us. Yes, I mean, talking about the weather and small talk is amazing, but we are human beings who are meant to connect with other human beings. When I take off my guard, I give the other person permission to be themselves, to take off the guard and connect with the other person. That is what healing entails. That is what self-love and self-acceptance is all about. Self-love is basically giving yourself the permission to feel your emotion, that you don't have to numb down with Netflix or shopping or drinking or anything. It's about listening to what your emotion has to convey, understanding it, and then responding to it, not reacting to it. I would really offer a 2-minute visualization. If you're not driving and if you're in a safe place, I would really want you to close your eyes for a 2-minute, putting your hand on your heart and going deeper, taking a deep breath in. And I want you to visualize yourself in this place where you are. And it is calm, the most safe, comfortable, soothing space that you are in. And there's a river flowing in front of you. You're away from the river. You're looking at this beautiful river. And this river contains all your thoughts, emotions, feelings. But you are outside. You are in the poise. And you're looking at the river. So you don't build a bridge when there is a storm, right? You never build a bridge when there is a storm. You build the bridge on a daily basis. So I want you to do this visualization where you are in your power poise. You're looking at the river, all the thoughts, feelings, emotions, but you are outside and you make the decision whether you dive in or whether you stand back. The difference is between reacting and responding. So when you dive in and you lose yourself in the river, you're reacting. You're consumed by the emotions and thoughts, and emotional regulation does not even exist. Whereas when you stand back, you're in the power poise, where you choose to step back and you respond. Self mastery is the only way you can be a master of your circumstances. So, coming back to self belief, for self belief, we come down to self love and self acceptance. We talked about the self love mirror exercise. For self acceptance, I would highly recommend creating a proud list for yourself. This will come to your help when self doubt comes rushing. And trust me, self doubt comes rushing at every step of the way. Whenever you're taking one step up, self doubt will come rushing in. Proud list is a physical list, pen to paper, bringing your prefrontal cortex into action, neuroplasticity into action, pen to paper, all the challenges, physical, mental, emotional, personal, professional, that you have overcome in the last 10 years of your life. Right now, as I talk to you, it is just stuck in front of me on the board. So whenever self-doubt comes rushing in, so when I thought today, oh my God, there's going to be such amazing speakers in this meet today, will I be able to do justice to the amazing, amazing humans who are going to be listening to it? I chose to go in with the intention that what I have to say, if it reaches out to that one person who is feeling stuck, who is feeling overwhelmed, who is feeling stuck in the trauma of something that happened to them, that they live in the cage of it. When I shared about the childhood sexual abuse, it is not about gaining any sympathy. But see, when you bring it out in the open, you are letting go of the guilt and the shame. I cannot change what happened, but I can choose to come out of that cage of guilt and shame and choose to move from victimhood to victory. That is always my choice. That is my choice to make. So that is what I had to speak about: self belief, self love, self acceptance. And thank you so, so much for your profound attention. Um, would you have any questions for me? Feel free to type away. I would like to engage, I would like to interact more. Any questions that you would like to ask? So, thank you for delivering a thought provoking talk that challenged conventional thinking and inspired us to explore new perspectives. My pleasure. Thank you so, so much. Self mirror experiment is a good initiation. What you said today, right now, in this space is invaluable. You are seen and you are heard. Thank you so, so much for all these beautiful comments. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Ruchi Mishra, for letting us know you're the radiant glow of self-love and acceptance. So we found our speaker to be a guiding light. So
Oh, thank you so, so much.
We
My
see you
pleasure.
glowing with your interview as your speech.
Thank you.
So yes, so we will celebrate this speaker whose words like cultivate a garden of self-love where every soul blossoms in the warmth of acceptance. So thank you so much for sharing about this great presentation today with the audience. So yes, Shruti, do you have any question
Yes,
for
I do
Dr.
have some
Mishra?
questions. I'll
Please.
post one of those. So the question here is, how can individuals like you have a cultivated and a strong sense of self love and self belief inspire and empower others? What is your driving force?
My driving force is my big why. So your why has to be bigger than you. So if my why is, your why has to come from a sense of service. What is it that I can provide? So if recently, like, when my chapter was in there, I was like, morning, it came up, oh, I'm an international best-selling author. Okay, amazing, fine, great. But is that my big why? No. So all these are steps. My why, always remember to have your why to be bigger than you. What is it that you genuinely feel called to? Like, there's a job, there's a calling, there's a mission. So the goals you form are like short-term steps in your vision. And whenever you form a goal, always have smaller sets of goals. And at the end of each goal, celebrate yourself. I forgot to mention in the talk, most important, celebrate your wins. That is such an important part of self love and self acceptance. Every single day, small or big, celebrate your wins every single day. So that's so important. And second is being your own loving parent, so that, all of us had unmet needs as a child. It's inevitable. People who took care of you were also human beings. They had their own failings, their own trauma. So when you meet your own unmet needs of validation, you become your own loving parent. So it's easier to find the validation from within rather than from outside. And I think that's when you come from a place of self-belief and confidence, because it is not coming from somebody else, but within you. And if you feel like, oh my God, that's so many things to do, always remember, take one step each day. Just take one step every single day. It could be a small step, it could be a big step. You don't have to have giant leaps, one small step. And keep believing in yourself. You're here for a rhyme, a reason, a purpose. None of us are here by accident. So, yeah.
Yeah, that's a powerful answer. Thank you so much. Yeah, well received. And thank you so much for your time, Dr. Ruchi Mishra. I hope you have enjoyed the session as well, and
Thoroughly, thoroughly.
continue supporting others as well. We have more powerful speeches coming up
Yes.
towards the end of the day. Please do join other speaker sessions and
Well,
make this event a huge success. And that's Ruchi Mishra from Win Ideas Pro Summit's Virtual Summit
my pleasure. Thank you
2024.
so much for having me.
Reach out to her. She's a strong lady. Yeah, reach out to her. Thank you so much. Have a great day. So
Thank
our speaker would be Trudy Brennan. I know we're not going according to the schedule, but some of the speakers we didn't hear from them. So please join Trudy Brennan's session.